It's the nail gun painting.
So today is all about painting in sketchbooks. I know I've done a video about this kind of thing before, but really I'm just going to talk about these 3 sketchbook paintings in 3 different sketchbooks. And then later today, off camera mind you, I'm going to do the last page in my October Kenyo Sketch It Challenge, where this sketchbook has been finished in the month. And yeah, I mean, it's going well. I'm doing a lot of scenes from films, just pictures, family photos, stuff from imagination, Halloween stuff, commuting drawing of people on the train, stuff my daughter chose. So it's full of stuff, and I'm looking forward to doing a little tour of it, but I can't do it till I finish my last page. So I'm going to be doing that today and editing this video and showing you 3 sketchbook paintings. The first is a painting just in a small old Moleskine. I didn't really plan on it being anything special. It was just while I was sitting at my desk I thought I would just do something, procrastinating from something else I think. And so that's that one. Second one is a painting in a different sketchbook. In this nice sketchbook, which was actually handmade for me by a student. It's really good. I mean, it's beautiful. Anyway, so there's a painting in there. And then the third one is a painting from this sketchbook, which is on the easel. So I've mentioned this sketchbook before. This is a sketchbook I've had for maybe 5 or 6 years. And some of my first oil paintings were in this sketchbook. And it has lasted all the way up until now. The painting in today's video is on the penultimate, second last page. And I'm currently working on the last page now. So once that's done, we'll have a nice sketchbook tour of that. Going to be sketchbook tours coming up my ears. Anyway, look, I don't want to do a big preamble to this, so that's it. It's going to be three painted sketchbooks.
Right, so that was a bit of a preamble, but so it goes. So this is just an old pocket Moleskine that I've some doodle in it, some perspective doodle from a long time ago. And I'm just covering it in a layer of transparent acrylic binder. This is like the stuff that they use to make acrylic paint, but without the pigment in it. I think it's basically just PVA glue. But anyway, that's a good kind of seal for paper if you just want to do something quickly. So the reference for this is from the Kenyo public reference chat. And there just seemed to be a kind of theme of sharing these images with big masses of light, you know, the light beam on the face. And this one in particular was kind of amazing. So as you'll see him painting in now, there's this big block of sunlight, a sort of heavily directed sunlight onto this head, which gives a kind of ethereal quality, or maybe even this big exploding head. But I just really liked it, and I just wanted to paint that big juicy mass in some really bright paint and set up, you know, that kind of clear contrast. It's interesting as well, as a small painting like this, how just getting the right blobs can kind of describe that form. You know, I don't want to go too far. It's really only spent maybe half an hour on this. And then just trying to balance out how much of the features I paint in. I put in an eye there, but I took it out again. It's better without it. So here we go with painting number 2. It's not Michael Fassbender, but it is similar in that it's another film scene. I really like painting scenes from these websites that collect together screenshots from films. I've mentioned this before in the Kurosawa video, but something about doing that, it's just a nice way to get a reference, and they're usually well composed and well lit off the bat. So there's a lot to get from it. So I don't even really know what film this is from. I go onto this website called Film Grab, and I just press random film, and I pick pick something from that. So it's, in a way, it's a wee challenge to get that done. As you can see, I already started this one, and I'm now just kind of finishing it off by putting in some of the background. I would describe this painting as having good blobbage. I'm always aiming for good blobbage. But the palette one, this one's a bit different, so I don't normally use such a high chroma yellow, so it's just giving me a lot of kind of turquoisey hues, which I think suits the nautical theme of the film. You know, this is obviously like a sailor looking out to sea. So you can see here I'm just blobbing it out on this paper. This is actually unprimed, so I'm just painting directly onto the paper, which does mean you have to work a bit thicker, and there's a drag to it. You know, the brush drags on the paper much more. Although you're not seeing a lot of that here because you struggle with that mostly in the underpainting. But I was pleased with this. Sometimes I think, you know, why can't I just do that on a big scale? Which comes back to the reason why I think painting in sketchbooks is so valuable. It allows you a bit of freedom, a bit of looseness, the opportunity to fail. You know, these sketchbooks are laboratories. They are laboratories of failure. But the platinum tier realization is that inside failure are these amazing discoveries and opportunities. It stops me getting stuck. So just before we get on to the last painting, here's a bit of me packing up some orders. So you might recognize these paintings from previous videos, if you're a avid watcher, of course. The light painting was very happy to have sold after the video went up. Maybe it was connected, maybe not, it's hard to tell. But that went down to England to somebody I was very pleased to sell it to. And I was also really pleased that the Kurosawa painting also sold. You know, that was a kind of sketch price because it's on paper. But I was also really pleased that the person who got it was really happy. So that makes me happy. So just to be aside to say that I do sell all these paintings, and if you're ever interested in anything, have a look on the website. It's all pretty reasonably priced, I think. And I usually put in some freebies, by the way. So here we go on the last painting. Like I said, this is the second last page, if I include that back, you know, the back of the cover on the back there as a page of this oil painting sketchbook. I'm really pleased with this sketchbook, and I'm looking forward to making a video about it because it represents a huge amount of development from basically knowing nothing about painting to knowing slightly more than nothing about painting. But I still think it has a huge amount of progress in it. So this is just some reference from my phone, basically chosen at random. I've actually painted this before, but at a much wider angle with the full figure. When I used to lend books to people, I would take a photo of them holding the books as a way of remembering that I lent it to them. So this is one of those. Although to be honest, I'm not sure I actually got the books back. I'm just kidding, by the way. So again, just trying to like do a simple quick painting. This was about 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. Some people in the previous videos had mentioned they wanted to see my palette. I don't think this is quite the solution they had in mind, but maybe I can recompose and move the desk around or something to make a palette more visible. But maybe you see a wee bit of it there anyway. I'm also maybe a wee bit embarrassed about my palette. You know, I see a lot of painters talk about the importance of palette discipline. I do lay the colours out in the same place every time, but as you can see, I don't have a huge amount of palette discipline. I don't pre-mix. I do this kind of puddles thing, I just do these puddles of colours. And yeah, I'm not really sure that is best practice actually, so I don't know, maybe don't do that. Or do it. I mean, is there a right way? So I'm just trying to here kind of carve it out, and right now it's in that kind of awkward stage where everything feels awful and you think, I really have no idea how to paint. But if you just keep sculpting away, eventually you find it. And she came out eventually. There's a painter I really admire called Ruth Fitton, and she gets an amazing quality of paint down onto the page. This is nothing like that, but I was thinking about that when I was doing this. Something about the way those paintings work, I think maybe need an underpainting like this. So if this was out of the sketchbook, this would really just be an underpainting. I would do another layer, another few layers. But I quite like that it's just left at this stage here. I quite like this moment where the green goes in. You know, it works opposite to the reds and the oranges. And it just kind of holds it all together. And then the question really then is about how to handle these edges, what to blur, what to keep sharp, and how to keep it nice quality. But I think it came out kind of nice. Sure, I could have pushed it further, but as an example of an underpainting in a sketchbook, I'm pretty pleased with it.
I love painting in sketchbooks. I love painting outside of sketchbooks too, but I like the sketchbook painting because of its low jeopardy status. The sketchbook is a laboratory of mistakes. Doesn't mean you can't take your time over sketchbook drawings and paintings. Doesn't mean they can't be really polished, nice, composed things. But they're still experiments. There's still this kind of freedom to fail. And if you accept that, then actually you can do much better work. So I often find my sketchbook paintings in some ways are better than my canvas paintings or panel paintings. It's just funny how it goes that way. So that's it. I love painting in sketchbooks. I love the freedom. I love the low jeopardy. I love the speed. But there's a downside too. You paint in a sketchbook, quite often people ask me to buy those paintings, and it's a bit of a tricky one because I don't really want to rip the page out because I like them as whole things. I will occasionally do it, like for example that one that was in this book, the sailor. Ripped that out and gave it away to a friend of mine because he really liked it. But I don't like doing that. So when people ask me, I quite often say, well, it's like a premium to pay because I don't want to do it, and that does put people off. But at the same time, if you are interested in any of them, do get in touch. You never know. I've often thought about selling a whole sketchbook, but I don't know if anyone would be interested in that because I would have to be quite a lot of money to represent all the work.
That's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed these paintings being done. More coming in the next week or so. Alright then. Bye.